Well, thank you so much for coming to talk with me today. This is Peggy Sapp, and Peggy is the president and CEO of Informed Families, which is the Florida Family Partnership. So I wanted to, for our audience, just discuss what that is very briefly before we start getting into Red Ribbon Week, and then kind of dive into more about you and the program, etc. So let's start with your organization. What would you like to tell me and tell our listeners about it?
Well, Informed Families, the Florida Family Partnership, started in 1982, really as a request from Governor Graham, because Nancy Reagan was very caught up in, well, it hadn't been called Just Say No at that time, but in trying to create a parent movement. And so he asked us to help in Miami, and we said yes. I came from the junior league, so I should give you that background. He asked a very important question that everyone should ask when they're trying to network. Who works in the community and who works with children? Well, the junior league. So that was a good one. And then here's what I said. I said, I'll have one meeting. I tell you, Jess, it's the longest meeting I've ever been in. It's a 40-year meeting, and it's the same meeting.
I love that, though. That's really great.
Because we can't seem to move forward. And when I say we, I don't mean Informed Families. We're moving forward. Mm-hmm. But the public, it's difficult to move people along when you come to the subject of addiction. And maybe the best thing that happened to us was we didn't know anything about addiction. So the first thing I did was go around and visit addiction treatment programs. And I said, well, why is it 30 days? And they said, because that's how much the insurance will pay for.
Interesting.
I said, that is not an answer. And that's the same answer today, and it's still not an answer. So that's how we started. We started as junior league volunteers, created this with the Federation of the Jewish Federation of Women's Clubs. So we had two big corporations, volunteer corporations in America, in Miami, who knew how to rally volunteers. And so that's what we did. And that's how Informed Families, the Florida Family Partnership, started.
Excellent. And then you sort of got into, so you were not previously involved in addiction and recovery and anything.
No. I had two teenage daughters, and my husband and I thought, well, if there's some way you can prevent all this, we want to get in there and do that. And so we were very receptive to learning exactly how you would do that. You see, I think that, and I include myself on this, we all want like 10 rules or a pill or some kind of formula, do this, and then everything's okay.
If this, then that.
It's not right. Yeah.
Right. I can tell from your list of accolades and awards that this is obviously something that you care very deeply about. It's not just a project for you.
No, it is not, because I had done some work with child abuse, and one of the statistics was that 67% of all child abuse is directly tied to alcohol and drugs. Well, being naive, I thought, well, when I just go tell all my friends that, they'll change the alcohol rules. No, that didn't happen. So over and over again, or when we discovered that the brain was not fully developed until 25, now everybody will get it. That isn't how change works. I wish, but it isn't.
Right.
It's a slow process. Change works when there are enough people who really believe in something, and they meet each other and they come together and they agreed. I don't know if you saw that we lit up the Paramount Tower in Miami, which is the tallest building in the Southeast. Ooh. So the person who was working with us to do it kept saying, you got to say war on drugs. You got to say this. You got to say that. And of course, we want to talk about prevention and healing and all that, but that doesn't resonate throughout media and news. So we listened to him, and we were featured in 107 cities across America.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So you're asking me, how do you change, or how do you get trend? We have this little wheel that shows the circle. The media is just one part of the circle. Mm-hmm. And what we have learned is you've got to speak the language of each of those spokes.
That makes a lot of sense. That's fascinating. I've never actually thought of it that way. So, but what sets Red Ribbon Week apart from other awareness campaigns?
Okay. And let's just really talk about the drug thing, because I serve on the governor's drug council, and I
Hmm.
just had that meeting yesterday. I mean, it's details, it's research, it's this, it's that. Well, that's really terrific. I mean, I have found myself in this 40-year meeting that I'm one of the few volunteers not representing an agency. I was thinking, well, what makes us different are like they're trying to do the governor's what recommendations to the governor, and we have been highly successful with Red Ribbon, obviously, and also with Lock Your Meds. Just this morning I thought, what is it about that level of policy who can't see how to allow the public to lead? See, here we've got the cart before the horse. And I
Yes.
think
Okay.
what makes Red Ribbon successful is we say, this is Red Ribbon. This is October 23rd through 27th. Here's Crazy Sock Day. Here's this. First of all, it's fun. Fun, fun, fun. Do something fun.
So
Have a
you're a
wonderful
fan
time.
of fun as a tool then?
Fun as a tool. How
Yeah.
do you engage someone? And so this is in the wonk language. Educate all the pharmacists and the blah, 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 to do blah, 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 blah. Really? Somebody
Right.
picking
But
up their
like, what about the
prescriptions? I don't
people?
want to hear that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's a missing link. And finally, maybe I'm just learning that I have to talk 12 different languages,
Mm.
depending on the spoke of the wheel. There's that wonderful mix, and I really have seen this, and this could be in the schools, it could be anywhere. Volunteers are great, but they also need the professional, and they
Mhm.
have to be able to work together. They really complement each other. I've said to the policeman before, hey, I don't try to be a policeman, but
Right.
they want to do all the prevention stuff. Now they have been our best partners, and they are in many ways are our easiest ones to work with. But I think it's just that defining all of us. I think we've come through a whole change of from when I grew up, which was even when we started. We had elks, we had lions. The lions are who started all the drug courts. I mean, it was all volunteer. So that's not just about losing the club; it's losing those sense of communities. And so when you look at more teenagers and young people using drugs, committing suicide,
Yeah.
what is one of the common factors? They have no sense of belonging. They have no
Yes.
sense of community. That's why I was really wanting to, when we were talking about Chris's daughter, which was
Yes.
someone who was working on Red Ribbon and the daughter recognized it. That's powerful.
Like you said, it's not the pharmacist telling a person picking up a script. It's talking to parents. It's talking to kids. It's making it, be something that's recognizable and digestible and understandable.
It's exactly right. I mean, we're people tell us the best ideas. Like a fourth grade teacher from Oregon told us that we should plant tulip bulbs during Red Ribbon, because then in April they would bloom and it would be Alcohol Awareness Month.
Oh
She
wow,
told me
that's smart.
people are smart. We
Yes.
have to invite them to share their information and feature them. Now, if you look at things like influencers and TikTok that's what everybody desires that. Who
Right.
doesn't desire? People they want you to recognize them and say hi, and you have to mean it. That's I tell this to my staff all the time. You've
I mean,
got
it's
to really
sincerity. You're
mean it.
absolutely right.
I know where I'm going. And I'm not going to just keep going around doing the things that don't work. We keep looking for a magic bullet. There isn't one. If the only one there really is that being together.